Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. The next battle pass drops in 2 days, playing with fire. And so today I got early access on the special test server to try out everything for you guys. I'm gonna quickly go over the battle pass, and at the same time I'm also gonna test out and take a look at the new items. Now unfortunately, I think content creators got blocked from having access to the workbench, so I cannot show you anything on here, which is a little bit unfortunate. And you might think, JB, go in your storage and press acquire. Well, they even thought about that. I'm also blocked over here. We're starting off with a portrait of Faceless Blade, which is one of the Lunatic's most menacing fighters. After that, we're getting a banner customization. After that, we're getting our first Crucible bumper, which is very cool. Which is just a normal bumper with headlights, but the headlights are flames that ignite inside, which are pretty cool. The bumper is 6 pins wide. You have a little pocket here to add maybe an ammo box or something. Looks like it also has some passive melee built in. It has 80% resistance to ram damage, 65% resistance to melee damage, and 20% bonus to ram damage. And the durability is not too bad on this one. No mounting points in the front though. After that, we're getting a wanted sticker of, I think, maybe weight. At level 5, you get coins. At level 6, we get 2 of those new 8x2x4 frames. At level 7, you get a charred metal paint, which looks something like this on your build. Not the biggest fan of it, but it's alright. You get more bearings. At level 9, we get a gears container. I thought they were only gonna try this out for 1 season, but it looks like they're gonna keep giving it to us just to fill the battle pass a little bit. I think these are absolutely garbage. At level 10, you get one of those new structural parts called the Flaming Barrier. I think this is very similar to the van door we already have in the game, with less mounting spots in the rear. Personally, I've been using this back wall structural part a lot. This is from the previous battle pass. And of course, we got the classic rear door, which all of them are pretty solid. The one we get right now is a lot weaker than the other ones, but it has more resistances against thermal and cryogenic stuff. After that, you get some coins, and at level 12, you get those new light 3x4 frames, the light ones. At level 13, you get a sticker of the carriage thrust. At level 14, you get more banner customization. At level 15, more stickers. Level 16, more bearings. At level 17, you get 2 of those new structural parts, Fork of Flame, with a nice little pocket inside. Very nice. At level 18, a Quips container. At level 19, we get the new tracks, the hyenas, and these are a lot bigger than they look. It always blows my mind, the people that come up with the looks and the mechanic of the items. This thing looks really, really good. It even has a suspension that works in the game. I love the name of it too, the hyena. So this thing comes at 750 power score. The max speed is only 95, but of course you can increase it with engines. It gives you 2,000 tonnage, which is a whole lot. The cabin power drain is negative 13%, which is not too bad. Ooh, you get a lot of different resistances. 25% against hit, 50 against ram, 25 against thermal and cryogenic stuff, and 50 against melee. Very nice. Durability is 1220, also very nice. The one you get from the battle pass gives you less mass and less power penalty, which I think is okay. So the perk for this thing is, upon reaching a speed of 45 kilometers per hour, it releases blades that deal melee damage. The damage increases additionally with the speed of the armored car. Maximum bonus is 45% at 90 kilometers per hour. So if you thought you were gonna use these with the cockpit cabin, I was about to try it. These are really heavy. I'll be running a cheetah engine as well, just to make up for it. Now keep in mind, these are movement parts. These are not meant to be used as weapons. These are basically like passive melee. But I still want to see what these can do. We're just gonna do a quick test. I'm not expecting a whole lot. Oh, if you go slower than 45, it just disappears. Yeah, so as I thought, the damage is not amazing for one wheel. But I'm guessing you can maybe combine them. You could try and make something like this, but again, I don't think it's gonna be all that amazing. I'm gonna grind, not myself, because I have a lot of wheels and these have a lot of resistances. Let's try on this guy. And that's with 3 grinding, nothing crazy. I didn't expect nothing crazy, but as you will see, you know, even though I'm kind of slowing down, I'm still dealing damage. If I boost, it's kind of tricky to get to that 45 or that 95 kilometers per hour. But even if you pin them down, you know, you still retain a good amount of speed to deal a little bit of damage. Again, this is not a weapon, it's just a movement part, but you know, it has some potential to be annoying. Kind of like the augers. I mean, that's not bad damage. That is not bad damage at all. I'm dealing max damage right now, 95 kilometers per hour. Yeah, so these are the hyenas. I think if you wanted to, you could just use 2 hyenas. Oh, they move really fast now. I think that's why my other build was too slow. I was using too many of them, and it was draining my power way too much. I mean, on their own, they look pretty badass though. I think you can run a build like this, have rear protection, and have something else in the front. Maybe melee weapons. Oh, it drifts kind of like crazy though. Okay. And just for reference, I think these new movement parts are as high as normal wheels. Yeah, it doesn't affect the tonnage. If I try Bigfoot wheels, yeah, as you can see, it will start to affect the tonnage. But, you know, you can still make it to where it touches the ground and get both benefits. That is actually quite nice. You can actually make proper half tracks now. So if I do this, I go faster than 45, but I don't think it's gonna deal. Wait. Oh, I can barely steer. Yeah, it's not gonna deal that. It won't allow me to steer. That's very interesting. It's like my steering is disabled. But as you will see, okay, that was just ram damage. Yeah, I can steer, which is very odd. Moving on, at level 20, you get 4 of those light 6x3 frames. At level 21, you get a banner customization. At level 22, you get a recipe for the upgraded hyena. At level 23, you get shamanic motifs. Looks like some kind of tribal paint. This build also has a few stickers, but to me, they kind of look like eye floats. You know, when you're staring into the sky sometimes and you see stuff floating around your eyes? That's what it looks like. At level 24, you get a tons container. At level 25, you get a recipe for the normal hyena. Can I see it? I cannot see it. Nah, I cannot see it. At level 26, you get 125 coins. At level 27, you get the spring duck. Can I see this one? No. Okay. And at level 28, boyos, we get the new trust melee weapon. This thing is only 10 energy, so that means we can mount 3 of them on your build. And again, the design team did such an amazing job. Look at this, fellas. It's so good. If this thing was static, it would have been so ugly. Look at all the gears inside. This thing looks really badass. Another thing about the projectile is it has its own mass. It's very heavy, it stays on the map for a while, and you know, while it's on the map, you can still interact with it and still get damage. This thing has 30% resistance against blast damage, 75% resistance against ram damage, 50% resistance against melee damage, and 40% bonus to ram damage. The one you get from the battle pass has 715 durability, which is not too shabby, and it only weighs 710 kilograms, also not too shabby. And the perk says the weapon deals 100% more damage when fired, and the damage bonus gradually decreases to 0 when the projectile's durability reaches 50%. The upgraded perks are more durability, 20% saw active time, and 15% extra projectile speed. Very nice. It's 3 pins tall, 6 pins wide, and I would say 6 pins long as well. It says 5 pins here, but I'm assuming this is also a pin, but we cannot mount anything here. Good mounting spots though, very good mounting spots. We're gonna check out the damage of 3 of those souls, and by the way, yeah, I forgot to show you guys, these have a limited firing angle, so stuff like the icebox cabin will also increase its damage. But as you will see, whenever the object hits the damage sphere, it will still, look at that, boom, it still deals damage to it the moment it gets into contact with it. 1500 is not too shabby. 1500 is not too shabby at all. And they say the longer you grind the enemy, the less durability it will get. Okay, there we go. And now it's at 50%, and basically now it's gonna deal very low amount of damage. Okay, okay. Because you won't deal 100% more damage anymore. Man, these are still quite effective as a normal melee weapon, man. Holy smokes. I cannot reload them though. That's the only thing that is kind of weird. If I want to reload them, I need to like shoot them. But then I won't deal a lot of damage. Oh, these are gonna be the new whole W builds, boyos. And I can still shoot. Oh, that's disgusting, but then I gotta wait because now I cannot grind. Oh yeah. I like these. These are gonna be quite interesting. I think a question on everybody's mind is, will this work with the tormentors? And I believe it should. So right now, without the tormentors, we deal 811 damage. Let's see if we see the visual indicator. Oh yes, it starts to spin faster. Oh, that's not right. That is not right. Hold on, let's try again. Because I did see it spin faster, but that impact was kind of weird. Let's try again. We're activating the Tormentor. It doesn't seem to do anything with the Tormentor. Very interesting. I mean, this is how it spins, and when I activate the Tormentor, it visually starts to spin faster, but I'm not seeing a crazy damage increase. Nope, it stays low. One more thing to keep in mind, fellas, is that these projectiles also deal ram damage. So if you shoot it at some frames, these are gonna be absolutely devastating. These might actually nugget you, especially since you're gonna stay on the map as well. They look kind of weird on the map though. But look at the amount we can have on the map if you're running 3. It does take quite a bit before they start to disappear. I have like what? 3, 6, 9, maybe 12 on the map right now. Yeah, these are going to be quite annoying. Also, for those of you who are wondering, yes, you can mount this any way you like, which is gonna be interesting. So if you really wanted to, you could also do something like this. Whee! Dude, imagine if you could land something like this. Oh, it actually goes up pretty high. Imagine if you could land these on someone though. That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. They're slow though. They're hella slow. That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. I actually have a fun challenge for this then. At level 29, you get 2 right flame fenders and 2 left flame fenders. These are just normal fenders. You know, the regular mounting spots for fenders with some decent parameters. At level 30, you get a sticker for the Beacon of Madness. At level 31, you get a recipe for the upgraded thrust. At level 32, you get 125 coins. At level 33, you get a banner customization of the new rocket launcher. At level 34, you get the recipe for the normal thrust. At level 35, you get more bearings. And at level 36, we get the new engine. The new legendary Jaguar engine. Oh, that's cool. So we have the Cheetah and this one's the Jaguar. Cool, cool, cool. This thing has some decent mounting spots. You can fit it into a nice little pocket in your build. This thing gives you 3,400 tonnage. That's crazy. That is a lot. I think it might be the highest, the cabin that gives you the highest amount of tonnage. Yeah, the fin wheel was 4,000 and that was one of the highest. 4,300 is quite a lot. Only 1,500 mass limit though. Not too shabby, not too shabby, same as a fin wheel. This thing increases your max cabin speed by 18%, but it doesn't give you max chassis speed though. All the engines that give you a high tonnage won't increase the maximum speed of your wheels. The same thing counts for the fin wheel, but for the Oyabun, we get 7% movement speed. The fin wheel engine still gives you more cabin power. This one is at 30%, while the fin wheel is at 35%. This one also has slightly less durability, but I like the size. It's nice and compact. It's basically 4 pins all around, which is very nice. So the perk says accumulates a charge when moving continuously at a speed of 85% of the maximum speed for 6 seconds. When any module or autonomous weapons except for sentry drones is activated, their reload time will be reduced by 10% of its initial value. The bonus applies to the first activated part or to the activated part in the same weapon group. Cooldown is 12 seconds. So this build stop speed is 95 kilometers per hour. And it only starts to charge when I'm at 85, but then if I slow down, it just immediately disappears. That kind of sucks. Let me run a quick test with the Aegis shield. For now, we're gonna run normal wheels. So I have to keep driving at basically my max speed without bumping into anything. And so now the perk is ready. And if I activate my Aegis shield, okay, it goes down really fast. It reloads really fast, and then I can basically use it again really fast. And that's it, only twice? Even though I still had perk left from my engine. Okay, we're gonna try again, activating Aegis. The engine perk automatically activates when I press the module. Activating Aegis again. And so the second time my reload won't be fast. Oh, that's kind of lame. Okay, maybe it's only for the Aegis. That's kind of lame, man. That is very, very lame. Hold up. Let's optimize it now. Let's optimize it. We're gonna use buggy wheels because buggy wheels reduce the speed requirements. And then we're also gonna use the Hertz co-driver. Yeah, so now we can charge our perk at a much lower speed. But it still sucks that it completely stops the moment you like go below that speed, you know? But let's charge it up. Let's see what it can do against our drone, our turrets over here. We're gonna activate them. Oh, I did not deploy them all at once, only one. I completely messed that one up. Let's give them all a different direction. Now when I deploy them, they all should go out at the same time. All right, beautiful. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, it doesn't really do a whole. I thought I was gonna be able to deploy 2 turrets. Okay, so once they get destroyed, you can't deploy them right away, though. That's, I guess that's the benefit. It's okay, I guess. So all of these drones will work except for the Yaoguai and the Vulture. I'm guessing the Annihilator should also work then. Even the Phantom should work. And the Hawks. And the Fuse Drone or something. All right, let's try it out. Aegis Shield charges up super quick. I can use it again right away. But for the second time, honestly, okay, it's not loading my Aegis faster. So even though I can keep activating the Engines perk, it doesn't boost my Aegis Shield. I have to boost it with the perk at the same time. That is, I don't like that. I honestly don't like it. I would get more out of the Cheetah engine if I just use that with the Bigfoot wheels. Let me show you guys. All right, I use my Aegis Shield. Okay, it's depleted, and now I can just drive. The Cheetah engine will charge super quick. And then I got my Aegis again. This happens a lot faster than you think in battle. You only have to drive a little bit. I can even increase it more by using the Griffin cabin. Because I can do this. And it should charge it. Oh, that's really fast. Okay, that's way faster. Honestly, not a big fan of this Jaguar module. At least with the Aegis, it's not really working out. I would say maybe if you run a Munin build, it could work out if you run it with Fuse drones as well. I will say though, it is nice that once you have the perk, you can just stop and it won't disappear. Okay, yeah, it doesn't disappear. So I think it could work if I use the Munin with the Fuse. It will detonate. And I basically have my Fuse again. And it will also detonate. Okay, and then the reload is long. Yeah, so I was excited for this engine, but it's nothing special. Moving on, at level 37, you get 30 of those light 8x2x4 frames. After that, you get some coins. After that, you get a recipe for the normal Jaguar engine. At level 40, you get 6 of those light 3x4 frames. After that, a blueprint storage consumable. After that, some badges. At level 43, some bearings. At level 44, you get 6 of those light 6x3 frames. I don't think we're getting heavy frames this update. Oh, never mind, I see them. We're getting heavy frames. I thought because of the lunatics, we would not get heavy frames. But yeah, at level 45, we get the new Inquisitor rocket launcher. This thing deals hit and explosion damage. It starts with 250 ammo. It has 100% penetration. Durability is a little bit on the low side. It uses 12 energy, so you can only mount 2. It's also not too heavy. And the perk says after 4 successful hits at a distance of 30 meters, the weapon fires an amplified incendiary projectile. If this weapon doesn't hit the enemy, it leaves a puddle of flammable mixture at the explosion site, which damages all targets and heats them up. The one we get from the Battle Pass has 10% more protection against all damage, 5% more damage, and 15% more projectile speed. Now keep in mind, fellas, this thing fires rapid rockets that fly on a plunging trajectory, so that means the Step Spider and Harmonizer and stuff like that should not work, but I was told that it does, so we're gonna test it out. It looks like the Step Spider description says nothing about the plunging trajectory anymore, which is interesting. It just has the list of the weapons that don't work with this cabin. But I believe the Harmonizers did specifically specify it, only for the perk shot though, so the flight acceleration does not apply to drones and projectile launch on a plunging trajectory. But it will still make the weapons more accurate. And this one is a little bit of a strange one, and as I mentioned in my previous video, weapons that fire on a plunging trajectory have this weird reticle. And that's basically how it fires. Now, the other thing that is kind of weird, it doesn't fire immediately. Only once you see the reticle. So I click now. The camera needs to move up, and once the camera moves up, that's when it starts to fire. The DPS is pretty good though. The damage is really, really good. And the tricky thing is, you cannot predetermine where you're gonna land your shot. For example, if I want to shoot over there, the range is... Okay, that's the maximum range. Hold on. Yeah, so this is the maximum range you can shoot these, but it is kind of tricky. You can barely see what you're aiming at. Pretty devastating though, pretty devastating. Let's see if we can fire over this thing maybe. Actually, let's see if we can fire over all these obstacles. I'm behind cover right now. Okay, it does seem to work. Okay, that is quite fun. That is quite fun. Also keep in mind, this thing does not have a clip or magazine. You can fire non-stop. As long as you have ammo, which is kind of interesting. Usually weapons have a reload. Oh no, never mind. It has overheating. It does overheat. Okay, so you need radiators for this one. Interesting. This build already had an Aquilo and an RN seal, so that's why it could fire that long. Okay. Right now we don't have any modules on this build. Okay, it does overheat quite fast if you don't have radiators. Unfortunately, the turret rotation speed is also not the best. So moving around and shooting is probably not gonna work out. You cannot flip these, you can only mount them in this orientation, which is, you know, unfortunate. Right now I have 5 generators, or not generators, I have 5 radiators. That's quite a bit of heat. That is quite a bit of heat. Yeah, these are not too shabby. Definitely need to optimize it a little bit. I want to see if my range increases if I add a radar. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. Radars don't increase the range. The other upgrades you can get are an increased rate of fire. I think that could be interesting. Projectile speed is the one from the battle pass. You can also choose for more damage, explosion radius, time to overheat. Nothing crazy. I forgot to check the other upgrades for the other weapons, so we're gonna check that out right now. For the thrust, you can get more damage, saw active time, and a faster reload. Projectile speed, more ammo, projectile durability, and the normal ones for reliability. The tracks only have the reliability and handling upgrades. And one more thing, the minimum range is very weird. You cannot really aim down with these. So if people are too close, you might still be able to hit them. But you might also not be able to hit them. Let's try it out with the spider cabin. I do think they land faster, but I'm gonna have to put a side by side for you guys. If that cabin works, the dust cabin should also work. Alright, moving on. At level 46, we get a new hologram, Predator Grip. This is what the new one looks like though, the Predator Grip. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I'll show it again. Cool. Very nice, very nice. At level 48, you get more banner customization. At level 49, you get the heavy 8x2x4 frames. After that, some more coins. At level 51, you get a recipe for the normal Inquisitor. At level 52, you get the heavy 3x4 frames. After that, some more bearings. And then at level 54, boyos, we get the Butcher. This thing fires a projectile that attaches to enemy parts and passes through them, dealing periodic damage. The only thing this thing cannot penetrate are cabin, weapons, and movement parts. This thing deals hit, explosion, and periodic damage. It has 100% penetration, as I thought. Durability from the upgraded one is 576, not too bad. This thing is only 11 energy, so that means we can mount 3 of them on one build. The one we get from the battle pass comes with more durability, a faster reload, and a faster projectile speed. The perk was a little bit confusing to me at first. Dealing periodic damage accumulates up to 5 charges while reducing the blast damage. Each charge increases the periodic damage of the next shot by 6%. The accumulation rate depends on the number of parts in contact and the projectile's penetration rate. So a little bit confusing, but this is basically what it looks like. I just fired 2. And then it will leave a pop at the end. And if you take a look at my ammunition count, as you can see, the perk is not fully charged. I didn't understand why not. But basically, once you penetrate parts, that's when the perk actually starts to charge. We got 4 charges there, 5 charges. And then I can fire again, dealing more periodic damage and get another charge. And as you can see, it just drills through all the parts. It kind of looks like it just... Yeah, except for the cabin, of course. Yeah, it kind of looks like it just drills through everything. I'm now going to activate the Tormentor because, as you will see, this thing does work with the Tormentor. Yeah, we're getting way more damage with the Tormentor. If I shoot the ground... it just explodes, nothing... I wonder if it becomes a physical object. It does turn into some kind of mine. Let's see how much damage it can deal. I don't think a whole lot, to be honest. Yeah, not a whole lot. But let's see if we can penetrate to all of this with a Tormentor. Nope. Not too bad though, not too bad. I know it looks weak, but remember, you can mount another one on your build. They also mentioned that it does not penetrate through weapons, so if I shoot my weapons over there... Oh dude, that's kind of like the... it's kind of like the Corax. At least you can shoot them off though. I think these are gonna be a little bit easier to shoot off. Oh, that's gonna... Okay, it's kind of like the Corax again. Corax all over again. So if a part is weak and you don't deal a lot of damage to it, it will deal a massive explosion. Okay, that's actually... It won't penetrate through that. I'm a little bit... I have mixed feelings about this one. Does not look OP right off the bat, but I'm pretty sure if you optimize it, it will become super deadly. Let's take a look at what 3 can do. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. Oh, wow. That's quite a bit of impulse. This should go through all of this, right? I think one exploded. Not too bad though, not too bad. I would have to see it in an actual match. At level 55, we get the heavy 6x3 frame. After that, you get the recipe for the Butcher. At level 57, you get another banner customization. After that, you get some more coins. And at level 59, you get the recipe for the normal Butcher. At level 60, you get some more coins. At level 61, you get a Real Madness sticker. Level 62, you get another one of these flaming barrier bump or structural parts. After that, we're getting the new legendary medium cabin, the Ouroboros. We'll test it out in a bit. At level 64, you get the heavy 8x2x4 frame. After that, some coins. At level 66, a new flaming paint, blazing graffiti, and it looks like this, which is not too bad. Not too bad. After that, you get 6 more heavy 3x4 frames. After that, some more bearings. After that, 6 heavy 6x3 frames. At level 70, you get the recipe for the Ouroboros. At level 71, you get new hubcaps, which are pretty cool. Look, check this out. When you activate your lights, they turn on, and then it basically... I'm not sure what the word is for it, but I'm pretty sure it's also an art form where people spin flames around like that. It kind of looks like that. At level 72, you get more bearings. After that, some more coins, 125. And at level 74, you get 1 more Crucible bumper right at the end, so in total you'll have 2. And at level 75, we get a portrait of Ignis. Ignis is a former member of the Lunatics gang, but is now a chief tactical advisor of the Firestarters. And of course, after level 75, you get the bonus levels to where you can save up some bearings to buy a 3rd or a 2nd legendary weapon. Let's take a look at the Ouroboros real quick though. The max cabin speed for the upgraded one is 90 kilometers per hour, tonnage is 5100, mass limit is 12,980, not too bad. Adds 24 energy, durability is 528, which is very high for a medium cabin. Mass is 880. The perks you get from the battle pass are more durability, more speed, and a higher mass limit. The main perk though is it increases the cooling rate of all weapons and boosters faster by 30%, and at the same time it also increases the weapon's reload speed by 5%. As you deal damage with any weapon, it accumulates up to 10 charges, but not faster than 1 time per 2.5 seconds. Upon activation, it additionally increases the cooling rate and reload time by 35% and 6% correspondingly for each charge for 10 seconds. And the cooldown between uses is 8 seconds. And I'll be honest, fellas, I did some tests and I'm not the biggest fan of this one. At least of not of the perk. The only nice thing is that when you activate the perk, you can still use it to charge the perk. I don't even have one charge yet. Now I got my first charge, and then I can actually activate it and still charge the charge, or still charge the perk. But as you can see, it just takes way too long, man. And now I got a second charge, and once it's cooled down, I can activate it again. But with my Hadron combo, my Hadron King combo, I mean, this thing gives you more reload boost, but only for a period. The Hadron combo is still king, man. If you use it with a king, of course. I can activate it again, get a faster boost. See what I mean? The reload is still slow in between shots. It's not bad, but you know, the Hadron is still freaking king, man. I'm gonna continue charging this perk, which is gonna take a minute, and then I can show you what the max charge is like. All right, we finally got 10 charges. Let's wait for our reload. We're gonna activate the perk. I mean, it's fast, but yeah. Wasn't really impressed, fellas, and this build was already using a K2 flywheel. Let's try it with a Cyclops. Once you have 6 charges and you activate the perk, the reload does become quite nice, I'll admit. Also with 6 charges. Let's continue. And that does take a while to get to the 10 stack though. Takes a very long time. Alright, we finally got the 10 stack. Let's wait for it to cool down. We have a Cyclops reload module. Alright, activate it. It's fast. It's definitely fast. It's really fast. You can get quite a few shots in. And then the reload is slowed down quite a bit. I guess the benefit of this new cabin is that you still get a super fast reload without using a king mine, because that's the problem with the Hadron. You gotta use something, a weapon that also reloads super quick, like the king mine or the nail guns, in order for you to get the fastest reload possible. My only criticism about this cabin is that the amount of damage you need to deal for one charge is a bit too high. It just takes way too long. But remember, this cabin also reduces the cooldown time, so we can also use it for machine guns like the Natung over here. And even with this thing, you gotta shoot for quite a bit. But we can start to use the cabin right now, for example. But yeah, it's gonna take a minute. I'll show you guys what the max perk is like. Alright, it took a minute, but we finally got the max charge. And so now if we activate, let's activate it. I mean, it cools down fast, but I think the Hugin does the same thing. And now it's slow again. Like I said, the amount of damage you need to deal is a little bit too high. For the Catalina and the Dolores, it doesn't matter because the damage increases over time. So in the first 2 tiers, or the first 2 charges, it's gonna take longer than the 9th and 10th charge. Anyways, fellas, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. I'm a little bit sick, so that's why I didn't stream this morning. And that's also why I sound a little bit off today. I'm gonna work on this video right now. It's probably gonna be up in like another 3 or 4 hours. And tomorrow I'll do some more testing on these items. And after that, we get the update. On the day of the updates, there are also gonna be Twitch drops. I'm not sure what we're gonna get this time. I'm assuming the same things, but it could be something different. But I usually only stream on Fridays and Saturdays though. And I'm also gonna be giving away codes for this battle pass, but 2 weeks after the drops. Anyways, fellas, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.